Let's talk about development. We will discuss here the meaning, definition, and connotations of rural development. Rural development is used to donate the actions and initiatives taken to improve the standard of living in non-urban neighborhoods, countryside, and remote villages. These communities can be exemplified with low ratio of inhabitants to open space. Agricultural activities may be promoted in this case where economic activities would relate to primary sector, production of foodstuff and raw material. Rural development action mostly aims at the social and economic development of the areas. These programs are usually top down from the local or regional authorities, regional development agencies, NGOs, national government, or international development organizations. But then local population can also bring about indigenous initiatives for development. The term is not limited to the issues for developing countries. In fact, many of the developed countries have very active rural development programs. The main aim of the rural development policy is to develop the underdeveloped villages. To develop a country, not only industrialization is sufficient, but also the very common man has to survive. Rural development is defined as improving the living standards of masses of low income population residing in rural areas. According to World Bank, rural development is a strategy designed to improve the economic and social life of a specific group of people by extending the benefits of development to the poorest among those who seek livelihood in the rural area. According to Finance Ministry, the rural development is systematic and integrated use of national resources, enabling every person to engage himself in production on social useful occupation and earn income that will meet at least basic needs. According to the National Commission on Agriculture, rural development means development of an area and the people through optimum development and utilization of local resources by bringing about necessary institutions, structures, and attitudinal changes, and by delivering packages of services to improve all fields of the rural poor and rural weak. The term rural development is a subset of a broader development. However, we define it development is an universally cherished goal of individuals, families, communities, and nations all over the world. Development is also natural in the sense that all forms of life on planet Earth have an inherent urge to survive and develop. Given these two attributes, that is, its universal supremacy as a goal and its natural occurrence, development deserves a scientific study and analysis. Hence, it is not surprising that the subject of development has been studied by scholars of all faith, ideologies, and discipline. Connotations of rural development. The term rural development connotes overall development of rural areas with a view to improve the quality of life of rural people. In this sense, it is a comprehensive and multidimensional concept and encompasses the development of agricultural and allied activities, village and cottage industries and crafts, socio-economic infrastructure, community service and facilities, and above all, the human resource in rural area. As a phenomenon, rural development is the end result of interactions between various physical, technological, economic, sociocultural, and institutional factors. As a strategy, it is designed to improve the economic and social well being of a specific group of people, the rural people. As a discipline, it is multidisciplinary in nature, representing an intersection of agricultural, social, behavioral, engineering, and management science. Rural development is a strategy to enable a specific group of people, poor, rural women and men, gain for themselves and their children more of what they want and need. It involves helping the poorest among those who seek a livelihood in the rural areas to demand and control more of the benefits of rural development. The group includes small scale farmers, tenants, and the landless. Thus, the term may be used to imply any one of the above mentioned connotations. Avoid ineffective floundering among the myriad definitions, defining rural development as a process leading to sustainable improvement in the quality of life of rural people, especially the poor, can be true. Basic elements of rural development, whether whatever the geographic location, culture, and historical stage of development of a society, there are at least three basic elements which are considered to constitute the true meaning of rural development: basic necessities of life, self respect, and freedom. People have certain basic needs without which it would be impossible or very difficult for them to survive. The basic necessities include food, clothes, shelter, basic literacy, primary health care, and security of life and property. When any one or all of them are absent in or in critically short supply, we may state that a condition of absolute underdevelopment exists. Provision of the basic necessities of life to everyone. When any one or all of them are absent or in critically short supply, we may state that a condition of absolute underdevelopment exists. Provision of the basic necessities of life to everybody is the primary responsibility of all economics, whether they are capitalist, socialist, or mixed. In this sense, we may claim that economic growth, increased per capita availability of basic necessities, is a necessary condition for improvement of the quality of life of rural people, which is rural development. Self respect, which every person has and every nation seeks some sort of self respect, dignity, or honor. Absent or denial of self respect indicates lack of development. Freedom is context refers to political or ideological freedom, economic freedom, and freedom from social servitude. As long as a society is bound by the servitude of men to nature, ignorance, other men, institution, and dogmatic belief, It cannot claim to have achieved the goal of development. Servitude in any form reflects a state of underdevelopment. The development of rural areas in India is a multidimensional problem which has been so far viewed by the policymakers and academicians mainly from the economic aspect only. In India, rural development is not only an economic problem but also a more social problem. Michael Pitodaro views rural development as most suitable in Indian context in following manners. Improvement in the level of living standards, including employment, education, health, nutrition, housing, and a variety of social services. Decreasing inequity in distribution of rural incomes and in the rural urban imbalances in incomes and economic opportunities to sustain capacity of rural sectors. In terms, it seems that in Indian context, rural development is a mere sociological problem rather than an economic problem. With the process of economic development and growing awareness, the social system in the country is becoming more complicated and unfavorable to economic conditions. The caste system continues to be strong moral phenomenon of social structure in India, which undoubtedly is an ordering system in marriage, basis of communal participation, a social control agency, and a political instrument, affecting the rural development process adversely. So, the policies of rural development may so designed to crack down the prevalent social structure in the country. Rural development programs and policies which are followed in India after independence reveals four strategies of development. First, growth oriented strategy. This is based on philosophy that rural people, like any other people, are rational decision makers who, when given adequate opportunity and a proper environment, will try to maximize their income. And role of the state in this strategy is to build infrastructure and maintain a favorable climate to stimulate the growth of rural enterprises. The critical assumption of this strategy is that the benefits of increased production will gradually trickle down to the poor. ऊपर से नीचे तक जो फाइनेंसेस हैं वो ट्रांसफर होते हैं रईस से गरीब तक. The regulation and coordination of the activities of private and public agencies is primarily through market mechanism. जो रेगुलेशंस हैं कोऑर्डिनेशंस हैं जितनी भी प्राइवेट और पब्लिक एजेंसीज के वो मार्केट मैकेनिज्म्स के थ्रू कोऑर्डिनेट होते हैं. This paradigm formed the basis of the predominant agricultural development strategy of the 1960s. When programs like the Intensive Agriculture District Program IADP, the Intensive Cattle Development Program CIDP, The High Yielding Variety Program (HYVP) they were launched. But this paradigm failed to make any dent on the basic problems of poverty, unemployment, and inequality and had to be abandoned. Welfare oriented strategy. This seeks to promote the well being of the rural population in general and the rural poor in particular through large scale social programs like the Minimum Needs Program, Applied Nutrition Program, Midday Meal Program, etc. The primary means used in this strategy are free provisions, distribution of goods, service, and civic amenities in rural areas. The critical assumption of this strategy are that people are not competent to identify and resolve their problems, and that government specialists can identify their needs and meet them with the financial and administrative resource available with the government. The role of villagers is that of passive receptor of service. This strategy has paternalistic orientation. The performance of the program is judged by the oriented programs presented in a mixed picture. The rural poor have benefited significantly through some programs in a few areas but not in others. There are two major criticisms of this strategy. Namely, it has created dependence and it requires resources that are beyond the means of governments. Responsive strategy. This is aimed at helping rural people help themselves through their own organizations and other support systems. Its concern is with responding to the felt needs of the rural people. As defined by them, the role of the government is to facilitate the self help efforts of villagers by providing technologies and resources that are not locally available. गवर्नमेंट का रोल क्या होता है? गवर्नमेंट का रोल है सेल्फ हेल्प एफर्ट वाले जो विलेजर्स हैं उनको प्रोवाइड करना है टेक्नोलॉजीज और रिसोर्सेज को. कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजीज और रिसोर्स जो कि लोकली अवेलेबल नहीं. The critical assumption of this strategy is that the rural poor will identify and resolve their problems if provided with minimal support and otherwise left to their own device and initiatives. क्या assumption है strategy का कि जो रूरल गरीब हैं उनको वो अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स रिजॉल्व कर लेंगे अगर उनको मिनिमम सपोर्ट अगर मिल जाता है तो. कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन in and in control PF project activities is the primary performance indicator of this strategy. कितनी कम्युनिटी पार्ट करती है, कितना पीएफ जनरेट होता है, प्रोजेक्ट एक्टिविटीज क्या क्या हो रही हैं, ये सारी जो चीज़ें हैं ये परफॉर्मेंस इंडिकेटर्स होते हैं इस रिस्पॉन्सिव स्ट्रैटेजी में. India's Operation Flood, which was launched in 1970 in the 18 milk sheds in 10 states, is a good example of this strategy. जो अमूल का ऑपरेशन फ्लड है, मतलब अमूल का ऑपरेशन फ्लड नहीं, ऑपरेशन फ्लड से जो एसोसिएटेड अमूल है, ये एक बहुत बढ़िया एग्जांपल है इस टाइप की स्ट्रैटेजी का. ऑपरेशन फ्लड aimed at modernizing and developing India's dairy industry through a three-tier structure. Anand Pattern Dairy Cooperatives. Many voluntary agencies are also following this paradigm of development. integrated or holistic strategy. This combines all the positive features of the earlier three strategies and is designed to simultaneously achieve the goals of growth, welfare, equity and community participation. ये जो है ये सब चीज़ें कंबाइन करके बनी है स्ट्रैटेजी। इसमें सारे पॉजिटिव फीचर्स ले लिए हैं पिछली तीन स्ट्रैटेजीज के। और ये जो डिज़ाइन है इसका डिज़ाइन का पर्पस ये है कि ये सारे जो गोल्स हैं ग्रोथ से एसोसिएटेड, वेलफेयर से एसोसिएटेड, इक्विटी से एसोसिएटेड, कम्युनिटी के पार्टिसिपेशन से एसोसिएटेड, उन सबको ये साइमल्टेनियसली अचीव करती है। This paradigm takes a very comprehensive but integrated view of the basic problems of poverty. ये जो तरीका है ये बहुत ही इंटीग्रेटेड व्यू रखती है जो पॉवर्टी से एसोसिएटेड जो प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं और जो अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट से होती हैं और इनइक्वालिटी से होती हैं उन सबको ये अपने व्यू के अंदर रखती हैं and seeks to address the physical, economic, technological, social, motivational, organizational and political basis of these problems. और क्या कोशिश करती है ये? कोशिश इसकी रहती है कि ये जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं इन प्रॉब्लम्स को हम फिजिकल, इकोनॉमिकल, टेक्नोलॉजिकल, सोशल, मोटिवेशनल, ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एंड पॉलिटिकल बेसिस से ख़त्म कर सकें। The multiple goals of this strategy are sought to be achieved by building the capacity of the community to involve itself in development in partnership with the government. The critical assumptions underlying this approach is that the government can restructure societal powers, relationships, and centralized bureaucracies can learn to share power with community groups. Successful implementation for vertical and lateral integration, a combination of specialist and generalist skills, institutional leadership, social intervention, capability, and systems management of this strategy requires complex decentralized matrix structure with permanent mechanism. About the community development programs, these programs were launched in India on 2nd October in 1952. There were 55 community development projects, and each project had an operational area of about 400 to 500 square mile. They comprised around 300 villages and a population of about 2 lakhs. The project area was divided into 3 development blocks, each consisting of about 100 villages and a population of 60 to 70,000. The project was headed by a project officer and a number of subject matter extension officers in the discipline of agriculture, animal husbandry, cooperation, industries, different industries, rural engineering, social education, etc. So each project had about 60 multi-purposes. Village level workers, VLWs, one of each group of 5 to 10 villages. They were government appointed extension functionaries at the lowest level who were nearest to the people. The multi-purpose VLWs were common to the development engaged in the rural work. And the people in all the project area responded enthusiastically and the need for a rapid expansion. The need for the program to other parts of the country was urgently felt. Limited resources, however, did not permit the rapid extension. Around the year 1953, the National Extension Service (NSE) program was launched with the idea of having wider coverage at less cost and more people's participation. Each NES block had about 100 villages and about 65,000 populations. The NES block was headed by a block development officer or BDO and had a number of extension officers. For the NES blocks, funds were drastically reduced and the number of multipurpose of VLWs were brought down to 10. So from 60 it was down to 10. NEOS was thorough. It was threw off as the agency and CD as the method to bring about the socio-economic transformation of the rural people. The momentum gained by the NES program was intensified by converting some selected NES blocks to community development blocks. The program was initiated in 1954. The NES blocks were produced good. They produced good results, and the people participation was in a good quantity. So these blocks funds were again increased, and they were again provided with additional staff and support. So what are the concepts of community development? The term community development appears to have originated from Cambridge in England. It was the year 1948. The Cambridge Summer Conference on African Administration recommended this term, defining it as a movement designed to promote better living for the whole community with the active participation, if possible, on the initiative of the community. But if this initiative is not forthcoming spontaneously, by the use of techniques of arousing and stimulating in order to secure its action and enthusiastic response to the movement. बेसिकली कोशिश ये की गई थी कि सब जने जो हैं वो इसके अंदर पार्ट लें. The UN in 1956 defined community development as the process by which the effort of the people themselves are united with those of government authorities to improve the economic, social and cultural conditions of the communities, to integrate these communities into the life of the nation and to enable them to contribute fully to the national progress. The idea was कि सब जने एक साथ पार्ट लें, गवर्नमेंट भी पार्ट ले और जो जनता है वो भी पार्ट ले. The International Cooperation Administration of 1957, in its guidelines, stated that community development is a process of social action in which the people of a community organize themselves for planning and action, define their common and individual needs and problems, make group and individual plans to meet their needs and solve their problems, execute these plans with a minimum of reliance upon community resources, and supplement these resources with, when necessary, with service and materials from government and non-governmental agencies outside the community. Tyler and others in 1965 conceived community development as the method by which people who live in local villages or communities are involved in helping to improve their own economics and social conditions, and thereby become effective working group in programs of national development. The adoption of this method is based upon a knowledge that villages who in past have seemed to be lethargic and not interested in change will become dynamic if they are permitted to take decisions concerning exercise, responsibility for, and are helped to carry out projects and programs for improvement in their own villages. CDs have also been defined as balanced programs for stimulating the local potential for growth in every direction. It promises, the main idea is to promise reciprocal advance in both wealth and welfare, not on the basis of outside charity, but by building on the latent vitality of the beneficiaries themselves. The idea is to reduce the intake of outside aid. In 1967, Mukherjee, he summed up these concepts and he stated that community development is a process of changing from the traditional way of living of rural communities to progressive way of living, to try to go and modernize themselves as a method by which people can be assisted to develop themselves on their own capacity and resources. As a progress of accomplishing certain activities in fields concerning the welfare of the rural people, and as a movement for progress with a certain ideological content. So what are the objectives of the community development programs in India? The community, these objectives were outlined by the Planning Commission in the first three five-year plan. These were essential for the improvement of all phases of the village life. The Ministry of Community Development Cooperation, Government of India, 1962, stated the specific objectives, which were as follows. The basic idea was to assist the villagers in having effective panchayats, cooperatives, and schools, and through these village institutions, plan and carry out integrated multi-phase family village block and district plans. And these were conducted for increasing agriculture production, improving existing village crafts and industries, and organizing new ones, providing minimum essential health services and improving health practices, providing recreational facilities and programs, improving housing and family living condition, and finally, providing programs for village women and youth. What are the basic assumptions in community development? Ross in 1967 made some basic assumptions in community organization, which appear to hold good for community development as well. They are communities of people can develop capacity to deal with their own problem. People want change and can change. People should participate in making, adjusting, or controlling the major changes taking place in their community. Change in community living that are self-imposed or self-developed have a meaning and permanence that imposed changes do not have. A holistic approach can deal successfully with problems with which a fragmented approach cannot cope. Democracy requires cooperative participation and action in the affair of the community, and that people must learn the skills which make this possible. Frequently, communities of people need help in organizing to deal with their needs, just as many individuals require help in coping with their individual problems. What are the guiding principles of community development? There was a report of the UN Economic and Social Council. The guiding principle of community development summarized as following. In this, activities undertaken must correspond to the basic needs of community. The first project should be initiated in response to the excess needs of the people. Full and balanced community development requires concerted action and establishment of multi-purpose programs. Change attitude in people are as important as the material achievement of community projects during the initial stage of development. Changing attitude in people are as important as material achievement of community during the development. Community development aims at increasing and better participation of people in community affairs, revitalization of existing form of local government, and transition towards effective local administration where it is not yet functioning. The identification, encouragement, and training of local leadership should be a basic objective of any program. Greater reliance on the participation of women and youth in community projects invigorates development program, establishes them on a wide basis, and secures long-range expansion. To be fully effective, self-help projects for communities require both intensive and extensive assistance by the government. Implementation of community development program on a national scale requires adoption of consistent policies, specific administrative arrangements, recruitment and training of personal mobilization of local and national resources, and organization of research, experimentation, and evaluation. The resource of voluntary and non-governmental organizations should be fully utilized in community development program as the local, national, and international level. Economic and social progresses at this local level necessitate parallel development on a wider national scale. What are the activities of these? The following activities are undertaken. These include your agriculture and related things. These include your reclamation of available virgin and wasteland, providing water, development of electricity, commercial fertilizers, quality seeds. There should be provision for all these things. There should be promotion of agricultural techniques and land utilization. There should be veterinary aid available to the farmers. Technical information, materials, and bulletins should be available for the farmers. So these things were included into the CD programs activities. Then further you had your provision for improved agriculture implements. There should be credit facilities, animal husbandries and breeding centers should be there. Facilities and development of inland fisheries. Uh, there should be promotion of home economics, development of fruit and vegetable cultivation, provision of soil survey and information. So all these things they come under the activities of community development program. These came under agricultural and related matter. Then you have your communications, which are including provisions for road, encouragement for mechanical road transport services, development of animal transport facilities, education, provision for free education, preferably your basic education at elementary stage, and then you had provision for high and middle school, library services, healthcare, disease control, drinking water supply improvement, medical aid. So all these things they come under your activities of community development. Furthermore, they also had training. Trainings were done under refresher courses to improve the existing standards. Uh, there were involvement of agriculturists, training of agriculturists, extension assistants, artisans. They were training for supervisors. Social welfare was there. Organization of community entertainment was there. Audiovisual aids for instructing, sports facilities. So these things were included. Furthermore, supplementary employment was also encouraged. Cottage industry है, अपना craft है, ये सारी चीज़ें subsidiary occupation के अंदर आती हैं. Encouragement था medium and small scale industries का, MSSIs का employment surplus करना है, इसलिए local needs को fulfill करना है, export करना है material. सो एनकरेज इसमें भी किया जाता था कि ट्रेड आप कर सको, ऑक्सिलरी सर्विसेज है, वेलफेयर सर्विसेज है, उसके अंदर आप पार्टिसिपेट करो. ब्रिक्स का आप कंस्ट्रक्शन कर सकते हो, सॉ मिल्स का कर सकते हो. तो इन सब तरीक़ों से इन्होंने हेल्प किया. फिर हाउसिंग हो जाती है. हाउसिंग के अंदर आपका डिमॉन्स्ट्रेशन हो गया, ट्रेनिंग हो गई, किस तरीके से आप डिमॉन्स्ट्रेट करते हो चीज़ों को, इम्प्रूव करते हो टेक्निक्स को हाउसिंग की. तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो हैं ये आपकी जो कम्युनिटी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम है वो इनको इस तरीके से पार्ट करता है. So the NREGA Act was enacted in September 2005 and was brought into force with effect from February 2006 in 200 most backward districts of the country. The objectives was to provide 100 days of guaranteed unskilled wages employment to each rural household opting for it. Now, the NREGA, this marks as a paradigm shift and stands out among the plethora of wage employment programs as it bestows a legal right and guarantee to the rural population through an act of parliament and is not a scheme unlike the other wages employment programs. It covers all the districts of the country within the ambit of it, and the focus of the Act is on work relating to water conservation, drought proofing. This includes your afforestation and tree plantation, land development, flood control, protection. This includes your drainage in waterlogged areas and rural connectivity. In terms of all-weather roads, each district has to prepare a perspective plan of 5 years with a bottom-up approach deriving from the needs of the local community. The said plan should have the approval of the community and the PRIs. The whole idea is that this has a bottom-up approach and the people involved in it includes those who are the under or underprivileged individuals. Now, how are you going to implement it? So, panchayats have a key role in planning and implementation and monitoring of the Act through preparation of perspective plans, approval of projects, execution of work at least to the extent of 50% in terms of cost. What's happening here is जो पंचायत है उसका जो रोल है वो ये है कि उसको ये प्लान्स अप्रूव करने हैं, उनको एग्जीक्यूट कराना है और उस हद तक एग्जीक्यूट कराना है कम से कम जो कॉस्ट है उसकी उसकी 50% तक वो यूटिलाइज करें. The Act envisages strict vigilance and monitoring, and the Gram Sabha has the power of social audit. Local vigilance and monitoring committees, these are to be set up, and the purpose of them is to ensure the quality of the work. अब प्रोविज़न है रिप्रेजेंटेशन का इन कम्युनिटीज़ के अंदर SC/STs के लिए एंड वुमेन के लिए भी है. सो एंड एक ये चीज़ है कि एटलीस्ट इसमें रूल है कि 1/3 of the beneficiaries should be women. You have your key records such as mustard oil, asset registration, and employment registers, these are to be maintained, and इनका जो public access है that has to be ensured. The Act it also envisages a grievance redressal mechanism and helpline. इसके अंदर grievance redressal का भी mechanism है और इसके लिए grievance redressal की एक helpline भी है. Comprehensive MIS has been developed to capture work-wise and household-wise data and track the process of resources invested. The Sampoorn Gramin Yojana, it was announcement was made by the Honorable Prime Minister in 2001 and was named as Sampoorn Gramin Rozgar Yojana or SGRY, and it was launched on 25th of September of 2001. They what they did was they merged the two schemes EASN JGSY. The objective of the program is to provide additional wage employment in the rural areas as also food security alongside the creation of durable community, social and economic infrastructure in the rural areas. The program is self-targeting in nature with special emphasis to provide wage employment to women, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and parents of children withdrawn from hazardous occupation. The strategy was divided into two parts, two streams. The first stream of the program is implemented at district and intermediary level, panchayats, and 50% of the funds available under the SGRY are earmarked for first stream. These are distributed between the Zilla Parishad and the intermediate panchayat in the ratio of 40 to 60. The second stream of the program will be implemented at the village panchayat level. 50% of the remaining SGRY funds are earmarked for this stream. The entire funds are released to the village panchayats through DRDAs or Jilla Parishads. So, what are the salient features of SGRY? The salient features includes that it is a centrally sponsored scheme, CSS, which is being implemented with a total outlay of rupees nearly 10,000 crore. Under the scheme, 50 lakh tons of food grain amounting for nearly 5,000 crores is provided every year free of cost to the state government and union territory administrations. The remaining fund of rupees 5,000 crore is utilized to meet the cost components of wages and material cost. The cost of cash component of the program is shared by the center and state in the ratio of 75 to 25. The payment of food grain is made by Ministry of Rural Development to the Food Corporation of India directly. About 100 crore bundles of employment are envisaged to be generated every year in the rural areas through this SCRY. 50% of the total available fund under the SGRY are provided to each stream. Every worker seeking employment under this scheme are provided 5 kilograms of food grains in kind. This is per bundle as part of the wages. Balance of wages are paid in cash so that they are assured of the notified minimum wages. The state government and union territory administrations are free to calculate the cost of food grains at either BPL rate or APL rates or anywhere in between these two rates. The SGRY has been in operation since 2002-2003. Since the scheme was launched in the middle of 2002, the ongoing scheme of the EAS and JGSY were merged. This program permits work which leads to the creation of additional wage employment, durable assets and infrastructure, particularly those which assist in drought proofing such as soil and moisture conservation work, watershed development, promotion of traditional water resources, afforestation and construction of rural infrastructure and link roads, primary school buildings, dispensaries, veterinary hospitals, marketing infrastructures, and panchayat ghars in rural areas. How are these monitored? They are monitored. The overall supervision of the program rests with the Zilla Parishad. The program will be regularly monitored by the Department of Rural Development in accordance with the inbuilt monitoring mechanisms, including periodical reports and returns. Vigilance and Monitoring Committee visits by officers of the central and state government. There are also visits by area officers of the Ministry of Rural Development. The program would also be evaluated through studies conducted by reputed institutions, organizations, and sponsored by central or state governments. IADP is popularly known as Package Program and was launched in the country in 1960. On a pilot basis in seven selected districts, the central idea behind IATP was to increase the agricultural productivity, and this increase was presumed that it will lead to economic growth, which shall bring welfare to the society. The program aims at combining technical know-how, credit, and production supplies for stepping up agricultural production. The method adopted in IADP was to demonstrate the feasibility of increased agricultural production rapidly by concentrating all factors of production at the same time in an integrated action program in selected areas fulfilling optimum conditions. Agriculture, like all other industry, needs high degree of investment before it can be self-generating and self-financing. There was a deviation from the multi-purpose approach in community development to single-purpose approach in increasing agricultural production through IATP. There are certain preparatory stages, and these consist of the following. There is selection of the district, which has assured supply of water and no exposed to which is not exposed to hazardous natural materials. It should be well developed, and there should be some sort of well developed cooperative credit structure, and it should have maximum potential to show increased production within a short possible time. Uh, um, there should be strengthening of the cooperative institutions, then creating general awareness among the people, selection, appointment, and posting of the staff, training of the staff. Then there is organizational resources benchmark survey, and then assisting the needs for supplies. There is also construction, and maybe if there is no construction possibility, then you can go for hiring of the godowns, strengthening of the transport arrangements, establishing the agricultural implement workshops. For example, you have your seed and soil testing laboratories, and then there should be implementation of local works programming, having a direct bearing to the production increase. Implementation of the program is to be done in a phased way, which is understood. In the first year, 20%, and by the end of 5 years, 65% area is to be covered. This is the Panchvarsha Yojana program. The program is to be implemented slowly, taking into consideration whether people have understood the basic philosophy. The essential features of these stages were include presentation of individual farms and village production plan, simple plan for majority and more comprehensive plans for few progressive cultivators, educate and timely supply of credits and input based on production plans. You have your organizing cooperative marketing societies and strengthening of the transportation and analysis and evaluation of the program. The distinctive features are as follows. There are two factors of production were known less. So what happened is that all these factors they were not provided simultaneously. And since they were not provided simultaneously, it was not provided timely and adequately. So initial inputs like fertilizers, they were to be made available 100% of the requirement, and previous credit which was available, it was given only to the credit farmers. In the new program, farmers who joined the program uh, with some production plan, they had the potential to get some credit. In selected areas, more agricultural and cooperative staff will be posted. This was one of the possibilities. And composite demonstration instead of single factor demonstration, economics of demonstrations will be worked out, and periodical training of staff and analysis and evaluation was to be done. These were the distinctive features of the program. With reference to shortcoming, educational approach to reach the cultivators was lacking. Emphasis was anyhow to make the cultivators join the program. Training program of staff was not clear. In many cases, these were found below standards and were not, they were not able to impress the farmers. Staff were not clear about the methods to reach the cultivators. Posting of the staff was not adequately and timely. Furthermore, workshop, seed testing, and soil testing laboratories were not functioning. There was an issue with transportation and land development programs as these were not progressing satisfactorily. Then cultivators were not using insecticides. So, because they were not using insecticides, there were issues with the crops. Uh, there was a problem with communication. Cooperatives were not functioning well. There was a lack of action research, and very little participation of women was there in these uh, programs. So these were the shortcomings. Similarly, you had your drought-prone areas program, DPAP, and these were Swaram Jayanti Gram. So, Swarozgar Yojana, SGSY drought-prone area program was established. It was initiated in 1970-71 as a non-central sector scheme. 74 districts were identified, which were drought-prone, and they were grouped under 54 units. The program's aim was to mitigate the severity and the scarcity of the water. Yeah. It was also the aim to execute rural works in order to generate employment. The program sought to be reoriented on the basis of an area development approach and was redesigned as a drought prone area program. At the time, the midterm appraisal was there in the fifth year plan. This program was confined to those areas which were originally kept taken up under the rural work programs. Basic objectives included reducing the severity and the impact of drought, stabilizing the income of people, particularly weaker sections of the society, and restoring the ecological balance. And during the fourth plan, this was a central scheme with 100% financial assistance from the center. From the fifth plan onward, this scheme has been operating with funds being shared between center and the state, and the ratio was 50-50. Under the new strategy of rural development, which was adopted in the sixth plan, this program was merged with IRDP, Integrated Rural Development Program. Now, if you consider the innovativeness and utility of this program, the World Bank provided nearly 35 million US dollar under the agreement, right? And this amount was given for 6 projects in the states of Rajasthan, Maharashtra, AP, and Karnataka. The interdisciplinary task force was also set up by the Government of India. This was done in June 1980, and their aim was to review the scope and coverage of the program. Task force submitted the report on in the month of July 1982, after 2 years. The report stressed the importance of interlinkages between various rural development programs and made many useful recommendations to enhance the effectiveness of these programs. This continued during the eighth plan and is likely to continue in the ninth and the coming plans also. In the year 1996-97, the program was in operation in 947 blocks. There were 153 districts and 13 states which were involved there. The expenditure of rupees nearly 1,742 crores was incurred under the program since its inception in 1973-74, and this data is till the year of 95. Nearly 50, till that time, year 1995, 58 lakh hectare of land was covered under the three core activities of land development, water resource development, and afforestation over the same period of time.